everyone. That'd be so sick. Okay, so there's only music playing in the background. Performance is from that for historic project. I've noticed this project because of Adam. And he's a crystal skull. I'm a Doogie holder with both historic NFT project.
Yo, Adam, what is good? We are finally getting this Hell's Bells Spaces going. First and foremost, everybody that is here, please make sure that you retweet the spaces. It's pinned to the top. Make sure that everyone can come in and hear about the vintage meme coin that came 8 days before Dogecoin. But we wouldn't be here without the man who is on the live stream with me. Just for those that know, I also live stream this video as well, so you can see that on YouTube or at the top of your Twitter feed. Adam, the one who had sworn off shitcoins for years and is now the king of shitcoins and meme coins.
Bro, I swore off of it and they brought me back in. No, it's crazy, man. It's so you know, sometimes, you know, this we talked back in, you know, we've been on the idea of shitcoins since it blew up on ordinals with BRC20s and just this idea. And you and I were talking in June, and of course you have some crypto history. which is very different than mine. And you're like, bro, this is happening and you need to pay attention to this. And I, of course I faded it like 1,000,000%. But then this was, Bells was, in my DMs, friend of mine, Hot Sauce, who you guys know, and who was, I've talked about in that original Bells post, DM'd me because it was Dogecoin's birthday, right? And he's like, he went, somebody, he saw a tweet from Billy, the founder of Dogecoin, from 2013. I don't know how he saw that post. It's probably because people were looking around the birthday. And it was when Billy actually tweeted at the other dude who was interested in building Dogecoin and was like, hey, man, we should hook up. Here's my other coin. It's called Bells. And when Hot Sauce DM'd me that, I was like, oh, well, I at least got to go down this rabbit hole, see what happened to it, right? And we started digging and found out that it basically got completely crushed because Doge was such a huge success. People don't realize how quickly Doge rocket ship. Like it really went crazy fast. Like within a week, it went crazy. And, so he totally dropped Bells, and some people kind of chugged it along. It lasted for I'd say about 1.5 years and then died. And as we know now, Billy's tweeted about it a couple times, and we knew this just from our research. It resurfaced a few times. Like people did try to get it functioning again, but could never really get the traction. And even somebody did a Bell token on Ethereum. Like you can find there's a Bell token. A bunch of people have DM'd me is this the token? It's like an ERC20 or whatever. So it had some traction as far as people knew about it, but it just never got past that hump because it got completely overwhelmed by the success of Doge. And of course, I didn't know if it was even possible to do. But Luke, who's on stage, I reached out to him because I know he's involved in multiple blockchains and mining, and he, I know very few people in my circle who have more knowledge than he does, and he was the first person I reached out to, and literally 10 minutes later, he's like, "Oh, bro, I think I can get this up again." And I was like, "No way!" And literally 2 hours later, he had it running. So that's kind of the origin story of how it happened. People are like, how did you scheme this? You guys were scheming. It's like, bro, this happened over the course of a day. You know what I mean? It was just very organic for me as far as finding something that's very interesting. And certainly during this time when we have this just explosion of meme coins literally on every chain on earth, just a complete explosion. I just thought it was completely relevant that this is a proof of work blockchain that actually, the memeability that it's proof of work. So it's, for me, it's infinitely more legit than, a BRC20 or an ERC20 or any of that stuff, because UI and everybody can spin this up in 8 seconds. This is a legit chain that requires compute power to keep it running. It's much more has more heft to it. And so, yeah, here we are, man. What are we, 9 days in or something, right? So yeah, it's pretty incredible.
It's definitely been a roller coaster. Before I do make the rounds to everyone on stage, I do have one more question for you. Actually, we met through historical NFTs and through 2021, reviving all of these ETH NFTs that had been abandoned or maybe just were overlooked and the communities left. Then it went to Bitcoin and Namecoin. We've been through all these chains. But the one theme of that happened in 2021, 2022 was bringing back NFTs, the equivalent of NFTs. Here, you brought back a fungible token, right? A cryptocurrency. So how is this experience differed from the previous 2 years of reviving projects?
Literally 180 degrees difference, right? When I'm bringing back kind of these old NFTs, I'm bringing it back to a collector base who understands and values this idea that we are in the beginning stages of moving to a crypto digital world, a digital world where digital assets are owned on public blockchains. So we all kind of have this vibe of we're just kind of collecting the very early movers in that space, right? This, if you go in the Discord, this for most people, not me, but for most people in that Discord, is simply about number go up. When number go up? When's Lambo? When's it happening, right? And So this is completely different. And honestly, you know, I'm a bit out of my league. I don't know how to manage, number go up people. I'm more about from collector mindset, and that's typically how I work. But for me, and now what I'm really just focusing on is not necessarily about number go up. It's how can I make sure that this blockchain has life? And by life, I mean that there is some sort of balance between miners, holders, collector. There's just this ecosystem, and you have to kind of balance it so that the chain runs. Because the reality is, if everybody stops paying attention to it today, the number will go to zero and the miners would stop. But if the miners hold everything and don't sell it, or whatever, there are all these like variables that make it where nobody's going to be interested in collecting it if nobody sells and the price is $1 million. Nobody gives, nobody cares. So there's all this, and am I like, can anybody handle that? Is there anybody on earth who's really good at that? Probably not. So what I'm trying to focus on is how can we make sure that the blockchain survives? Like that's my main focus right now, and that's working with Luke, and we have some amazing devs, and we can get into it a little bit later about the help that's been provided from devs from other chains have stepped in to really give us some incredible and valuable advice on the direction we should take. And so I'm just trying to help our dev team connect with those people and give some guidance as best I can to make sure that this chain has life.
Yeah, I completely agree. Big Chief, I'll call on you in a second. I do want to talk with Luke here for a second, who is kind of one of the technical minds behind the revival of this. Luke, right? We've also known each other for a little while, Litecoin ordinals. So you had a little bit of experience here. You've been in mining and you're doing all kinds of different stuff. What's the process of reviving a project like this, or getting the nodes back up and running? And just take us through your experience assisting Adam to bring bells back.
Hi, thanks you guys. Thanks for hosting. And yeah, it's been a crazy last week, but am I talking? Yeah, I am. Okay, yeah, it's been a crazy last week for sure. When I saw Adam reach out and just kind of mention that, at first I thought, man, if it's dead, it's dead. There's no way we're gonna get this thing back up. But after kind of like reading through the forums and just kind of seeing the history, and then of course the narrative behind it of, yes, this was a previous, like, the meme coin of meme coins that is up and running, I was like, okay, let's see what we can do. And I guess the process of getting all these back up online wasn't fairly hard. I would feel like anybody could really do it as long as you had somewhat of basic networking skills. So I don't want to take like all the credit. It just so happened that the timing was right there. It took 2 or 3 nodes to get started, and then you have to mine a Genesis block in order for it to start mining again with no nodes. So in order for that to happen, you have to connect. And this is, I mean, if anybody wants to go and try to revive other old chains, here you go. So you get 2 or 3 different nodes up online talking to each other, or at least ported to each other on the peer-to-peer network. So there's a peer-to-peer port and there's an RPC port. So how a node connects to other nodes are peer-to-peer. RPC is you using your CLI or other servers to connect to your own node. So within the peer-to-peer node ports, you open them up on your firewall as well as your router so that you can talk to the other peers. Once that was established and we were able to get 2 to 3 different nodes talking to each other, we could then mine. The problem with that right away is the software actually is not really optimal to mine. If anybody knows, if you hit the mining button within the first version of the core, your computer instantly uses all of its cores, goes to 99%, and either crashes or it doesn't mine at all. So to mine the Genesis block, you can use a CLI command that has its generate address 2, and then you'll put a number like 20, which will be generate 20 blocks. So once that was put in there, it was able to generate a Genesis block, and then from there mine 20 more blocks along with the other help. And that's basically how it all got started. Once it mined the Genesis block, it's technically a new ledger and it's ready to go. And once that happened, it was just like an aha moment of holy smokes, we got something here.
Yeah, I completely, it sounds like a simple process for those who are technically savvy. For people like myself and Adam, you're on mute, by the way. For those that are not technically savvy, a little more difficult. I do want to call on, I think it was Big Chief Energy had his hand up first and Dogfather right after.
Yeah, thanks, you guys. This is pretty cool. I mean, I love it. Apparently, 15% of the Dogecoin, Litecoin hash rate has gone towards bells already. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but I know that 10% of my hash rate is going towards bells. I use my ASIC rigs to heat my house. I've been mining Dogecoin and Litecoin for 3 years now, and so my question is it so there's like some pools online where I can mine bells, crypto hash, I think, or I can't remember what it is, but exactly what it is, some Dutch pool. But I would like to point my rigs towards my own node, like set up my own stratum and do it that way. Is that possible? Can you point me to like some technical literature or whatever?
Before Luke answers that question, let me ask you real quick, because this is interesting to me. How do you decide? I mean, is it strictly a money matter? How do you decide, or you're thinking about which one might go up more? How, from your perspective as a professional miner, I would consider you like a professional. How do you like decide which one you're gonna point your rigs at?
Well, they're script mining their ASICs. They can only do Dogecoin, Litecoin, or like there's some obscure chains, but now bells. It seems like it's a pretty cool project. I mean, I'm into doginals and all that stuff. It all fascinates me. It's the whole the technical aspect of it that fascinates me. I could care less if the bells is worth a penny or whatever, but I think it's a cool project to just be involved in, like at a technical aspect, or from a technical
very cool
aspect.
So Luke, do you have an answer for him as to how he can point it at his own node?
Yeah, I got a little answer that might work for him. So if it's on your local network, your local host machines, you'll have at least one node that's kind of acting as a wallet or a node that talks to the other clients, and you set your config on that node to accept from your network's IP or certain IPs on your network using the RPC allow IP command. And then once you have that RPC allow IP in your config, the bells.conf, with your IP of those miners in there, you use your username and password on those miners along with that IP to that computer. Yes, correct.
And then point it towards that IP from that computer.
Correct. And that should get it up and running. If you do have troubles, feel free to reach out to me in the Discord. But
is there any way I can, like, is there a command line that I can run that will tell me if I'm mining or not, or what my hash power is or whatever?
There probably is. You'll have to message me in the Discord on that. I don't know how to answer that right off the top of the head.
Right on. Can you guys share the Discord in the nest?
Yeah. 1 second. I'll post it with the Bells Coin Twitter here.
Awesome. Dogfather, go ahead, man.
Yeah, hey guys. Yeah, huge props, Luke. Really cool work, and the whole team. I think the most important question is probably, would it have been possible to get the old ledger running as well, to have the old coins restored, or was that never an option? Because, I mean, if you started from scratch, it's basically like a Bell 2.0.
Yeah, that was something that I was trying to figure out right away. It was after reading through the forums, I was hoping that somebody randomly had an archive of an old ledger. And I found pretty quickly that old ledger would have to be on somebody's computer from 2014, or it doesn't exist. And after seeing a response from Billy saying that, you know, the old ledger is in the Aether, meaning that it is completely lost, we learned really quickly that it's kind of scary, and that's why Adam made a post about it. Is if all the nodes go offline, there is a chance that your ledger and that chain will simply restart. And with this being a small version of Core from 2013, that was in fact the end result of the ledger disappearing, not being backed up. There's no backups of it nowadays. I guarantee you that people are backing up all of theirs and putting it into archives for block and chain height and chain indexes. So in this case, we did look for it, and I did send a few messages to people from 2014 on the Bitcoin talk, but unfortunately, I got no response. And until like a week later, but the person said that they're like, I haven't touched it in a while, and I have no idea how to even go for it. Don't have it for sure. But it was really funny to see the recent post on Bitcoin Talk of somebody saying, I guess we should get out our old Bells wallets now. And that was just posted like last week. So
Luke,
thanks, Luke, for the answer.
Luke, I want to ask, maybe we'll move a little bit past the jump start of it and move a little bit more into kind of the tokenomic model and how the three of you in the beginning determined how to mine it, how to determine what's a fair and decentralized mint kind of in the ethos. I have here pulled up on the live stream, the original Bitcoin Talk post where he goes into the block rewards, and it says for block 1 through 100, it's 2 bells, and then blocks 101 through looks like 129,600. It's the first 90 days. It looks like it's 1% for 10,000 bells, and then kind of has this almost like reverse pyramid structure to mining. You know, this kind of puts the founding team at this crossroad of like, you want to, mine some of it because you found it and you're rewarded, but because of this like reverse kind of mining structure, it's tough to really know how to determine it. How did you guys, or maybe this is even a better question for Adam, is how did you go about determining the decentralized and fair mint for bells? Because we know that if it's not fair and free, then it pretty much just ruins the entire momentum.
Yeah. And it's a tough call. I mean, and I've had people in my DMs saying, why don't you do it this way or that way? The main thing, honestly, for myself, and I know for Luke too, because we've talked about it, was that we didn't want to do a huge amount of mining. And we actually restricted the amount of mining we did over that, whatever.
Pre-mining, you mean, correct?
Yeah, pre-mining. Mining, when Luke got the chain up, right? And we started basically mining to connect like a network. It was basically 3 of us, connecting our old PCs. Well, my old PC, Luke's, I'm sure he's got like a giant, thing in his garage or something. I have like my whole, an old PC. My concern was just, look, I don't want to mine this and everybody, come shit on us that we've, mined for a month and have some gigantic supply. And we talked about it. And I was like, I want to be, get this out as quickly as possible because I don't want to have that burden of continually having to defend myself about how much we mined. And so the thing for me was just, let's get it out as quickly as possible and do it that way. And so, literally that, I can't even remember what day it was on, but we kind of went through that weekend. It kind of worked, I mean, you would get kicked off all the time. I mean, to be honest, my computer just would shut down all the time because I'm using like a 10-year-old computer or whatever. And then, we just, my feeling was just, let's get it out there as quickly as possible so that, the questions about how much we've mined and stuff will be minimized. Because I've learned through relaunches that there simply is no perfect. It literally doesn't exist. Even if we had mined all the tokens and then I'd done like a free airdrop where I just airdrop to everybody, there would still be unhappy people. Like there's still going to be people who are like, that was wrong or that was stupid. So, I know there's no perfect way. the way I just felt like was the most fair was getting it out there as soon as possible. The negative effect of that was that it exploded so quickly that the miners, Luke can correct me if I'm wrong, but somewhere around 12 hours in, the first ASIC miners got on it. And when that happened, basically, just regular computers had no chance, or nearly no chance, right? And so, unfortunately, it didn't allow for much kind of free minting other than that first 12 hours. So that was unfortunate. But I mean, honestly, I thought it would be okay. I thought people would be interested, but obviously, I had no clue that that post would get over 1 million views. That's like, I've never, for a historical NFT post or a collector post, gotten, I don't know, a quarter of that number. Even for the biggest relaunches I've ever done, have never had that kind of traction before. This was exponentially bigger than I could have imagined. And so obviously that kind of crushed that, early adopter ability to mine, which was a bit of a bummer, but what are you going to do? Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, that original post is sitting at 1 million views, 879 retweets, almost 2,000 likes, and 2.4 thousand bookmarks. That is insane. Luke, from your opinion, the transition from GPU mining, which is basically individuals mining from their computer, to ASIC mining, which is generally run by, some more advanced users at home using these specialized kind of computation machines, to mine, or it could be at this scale of, large industrial mining farms who are then, converting their ASICs to mine bells. Do you think that was a positive or a negative for the community in terms of the stability of the network? Because we just covered with Adam kind of the fairness of the launch, but the stability of the network, is that a positive or a negative?
It's a great question. There's two ways to think about that, actually. So the first way to think about it is, it is a net positive when you have ASIC miners get on. And the reason being is there's a lot of different pools out there that already support script miners. And since it's script, it's easy for somebody to point their miners to it. The second, or the kind of the way that's on the downside to think about it, is the software that it's running is 2013, and in 2013 there wasn't there wasn't really ASICs that people were using. So the fairness of people mining with their computers or GPUs was a lot more reasonable. What also happened with bells right away was the fact that pools didn't really get up for like the first day. Maybe we saw the first pool halfway through the day, and nobody really knew about it. So in respect to everybody was competing against each other. So the first person to get their ASIC up was probably the one getting most of the blocks that day. And that's just kind of how it was. I actually didn't even get my GPU up until like 12 hours in, and by that time it was actually too late. So there's two different ways to look at it. It is a net positive for the community that it is there. But of course, going from 2013 software, the network was pretty thrashed. Like, the difficulty increased dramatically and had some miscalculations based on just the old software. So that stuff that all is being fixed in the next core, along with some other things in how it calculates and displays the network hash rate as well. But it's a crazy thing. Yeah.
That was also along that line too. That was one of the questions I got into a conversation with Not So Fast, who you guys might know, Trader on X, and he's like, "Well, why didn't you guys fix this, man? This is like garbage 2013 tech. Why didn't you fix it and do like a fair launch that way?" And my response to that is like, bro, I could spin up a Cosmos blockchain in 5 minutes. Like, if I want a blockchain that I know is going to function, part of the coolness of this is that it is, the original tech, and all the badness about it, right? I mean, and there's a lot wrong with it, which we could talk about and maybe get into a little bit of the challenges that Luke and the amazing devs have faced to try and keep this thing, running. But that was the idea, is that, no, this is the original tech. I mean, guys, it's 10 years old. That it's even running is honestly somewhat of a miracle. Try to spin up your Windows Vista right now, see how that works.
Yeah. So then once Adam, we've gone through this a lot with Emblem Vault, right? Once a new protocol is created or something's revived, you have these digital assets, and then they need two things. They generally need wallet support somewhere, and then they need somewhere to trade. It looked like you had the core wallet, right, which is not ideal for most of today's users, modern day crypto users. But if you're advanced, right, it probably brings back some of this nostalgia. The first, I guess, exchange to market was, I think it was called non-KYC, which I believe is servers are down.
I'd love to have somebody come up and give an update. I haven't looked at the Discord since we got on the show. So is there an update, anybody? Can anybody give us an update? Are our funds safe?
But what was that price action? It went from 0 and then it went up to what, $5?
I mean, I think it went up to like $7 at the beginning, like hyper pump, and then came back and hovered around 5 and stuff. I don't even know what it was before they went offline to something probably. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things to think about is, and maybe Big can give us an idea of what it's costing him to mine Bell right now. But I mean, we were hearing estimates of, over $1 to base $1 per Bell. If you went in and rented an ASIC for an hour, you got X amount of Bell for that hour, and it cost you, so you got 100 Bell and it cost you $100. That was kind of the rate from there to $1.50 for quite a while. And so, that also is something that obviously separates this from just a standard, meme coin where, there is this hash rate that is paid for by somebody. So, I have no idea about price, and I am not predicting price at all. I have no clue what's going to happen. This could go to a penny for all I know. But that's why I like it more than a standard, meme coin, because there is like this entire proof of work blockchain behind it, which makes the dynamics, I think, more interesting.
Big Chief, do you have any information? Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I pointed one of my machines last night at this pool. I don't know how fair they are in distribution, but for 12 hours of one L3 pointed at it, I got 0.00001484 Bell. So,
oh my God, bro. At least it's heating your house, bro.
Yeah, that's $1 worth of electricity that I spent on 0.00001484 Bell. So I need to figure out a better way to do this, otherwise.
Bro, sorry for your loss. Holy macaroni, bro. Holy cow.
Oh, it's all good. If I could figure out how to point it at my own stratum, I'm trying to figure it out right now. It's not working for me, but if I could do that,
in the Discord, bro, and we'll, maybe you can give us some updated numbers when you run that, pointing to your own node. That'll be interesting to actually know, what the returns are then.
Oh yeah, I'd like to point all of my machines towards my own node. I have 10 L3s running, so if I had them all 10 of them pointed to my own node, I think I got a pretty good chance of hitting a block at some point in time.
Yep. And
it's a random block reward, so it could be what to what.
Well, for sure in the Discord you can check it out, but I know I think it's like, Luke can correct me, but it's like 50 is like the low to like 10,000 is the high. So if you won the 10,000, that would be amazing, right? But I know if you get in the Discord also, people have broken down which blocks are the 10K blocks. So you can actually then just like, maybe hyper focus or rent additional miners or whatever for those big blocks. But I'm sure, again, everybody knows the deal. So it's, going to be hyper competitive for sure.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Chief.
I'm just happy. I think I'm in on the ground level. It's pretty cool to be on, at the beginning of something. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree as well. I was going to read the volume on non-KYC, but unfortunately they're down for maintenance right now. At least that's
you can check on CoinGecko, by the way.
Okay, cool. I'll pull that up here. But going through, the timeline after everything was created, you had non-KYC had popped up, and started allowing for trading. I think it was USDT pair. They also added a Bells Dogecoin pair, which I thought was pretty cool, just kind of adding to the mimetic nature of it. And then Adam and I and Chris at Emblem Vault, we added Bells trading on through vaults on OpenSea and on LooksRare that has about 12 ETH of volume right now. So you're saying maybe 20, 30K, you know, quite nominal compared to the amount of volume that you do on centralized exchanges. But this is, you know, an on-chain kind of way to trade. I think since then we've had, or I've seen a few more centralized exchanges, nothing too crazy yet. But also too, after now that the assets are created and assets are being traded, now there's real value and speculation's increasing. I saw a post that came from, I believe it was Luke, about a potential 51% attack that had happened or was about to happen. I don't know. Was this caused, do you think, because there's now value in the network that somebody's trying to overtake it, or was this kind of instability caused by something else?
Yeah, I mean, good question. It depends how you look at it. Again, the 51% attack can mean a variety of different things. So yeah, there was value on the network, and a primary group of a pool had more than 51% of the hash rate. So meaning they can essentially deny transactions through the network or reorg it so that they win the blocks. So that's what we've seen in that, I guess, 51% attack is to get all that hash rate and then, of course, reorg to get those blocks. And the one that we posted about first was more related to DDoSing and downing peers to gain that 51%. That was kind of the first one. And thankfully that they stopped, whoever it was. And I guess it did fail in perspective. But as of right now, like if you look at the hash rate on the pools, you can clearly see which pool has the most hash rate. So at any time, I guess they can really, in a way, they're in control. That's just kind of how that works. So that's the importance of spreading and decentralizing your hash rate out, even if it results in you're not mining the most amount of coins for that day, which does suck because a lot of miners are in for the value and the proposition within being able to use their electric and justify the cost for it with these ASIC miners. So I think the result of that is going to be getting just bigger pools and more pools online, as well as potentially the aux script implementation, which means merge mining capability with Litecoin and Dogecoin. We'll see how it goes, though. Who knows? So
the biggest risk when somebody has basically more than 51% control of the network is not that they can't, you know, go in your wallet and steal your tokens, but what they can do is they can reorganize blocks and stuff and basically win the rewards. They can basically claim all the rewards going forward if they really wanted to. That's currently the biggest risk. Is that true?
Yeah, I would say that's the biggest risk.
Okay.
In my opinion. I could be wrong.
So how does this merge mining work? There's a few instances of this before. Memecoin is merge mined with Bitcoin. Dogecoin is merge mined with Litecoin. First, what does that specifically mean? And then you mentioned you're looking into Bells merge mining with Litecoin and Dogecoin. Is that can you merge with two different blockchains at one time?
Yeah, I guess it's more so of a choice of what the miner wants to mine. So I don't know off the top of my head because there's a lot of different script coins that are actually merged mined with Dogecoin and Litecoin already. It just so happens that Dogecoin and Litecoin are the two most profitable. So it makes sense that people would mine Dogecoin and Litecoin. The proposition for Bells doing that would be hash rate is then more easily distributed amongst other pools and the integration is already there. So you wouldn't really have to do anything other than load up a wallet for them, the pools anyway. In terms of how that ends up working, is more so along the lines of you're going to use the other networks and share the hash rate, which will actually help prevent 51% attacks in the future. The hard part is you have all those other miners now that if you look at what Doge has gone through, because Dogecoin was the one who did that earlier on in their life, because they were experiencing a lot of stalling in their blockchain along the terms of 51% attacks. So that was kind of the route that they took. I could be completely wrong, but that's to my knowledge, that is what I've heard about it. But going forward, it does allow the miners that already have all the hash power to have something else to sell. So it could create a selling pressure as, okay, I just want to keep my Dogecoin. This is just another coin that I can make money from. So there's give and takes to each of it. I would say the give and the promising thing is it will kind of decentralize, hopefully, the hash rate as other pools would come online and make it easier. The downside about that is it could result in just these big miners coming on and being like, sweet, we got another coin, and that's gonna just load our banks. I mean, that's what mining technically is. Everybody's doing it to make money in mining, to be honest with you.
By the way, guys, breaking news. This is honestly a bit of a stunner. I don't know if you guys saw this. This is breaking, and it is a stunner. Non-KYC, the exchange is back online. Like, who would have thunk? Everybody thought it was a rug, but it is actually back online right now. I mean, wow, that is a surprise.
That's good. Yeah, who would have thought that a site called non-KYC could have some skepticism towards it, but it is good that it is back online.
I mean, there are a couple guys in the Discord who were just like, "I told you so, I told you so," bro. They're gonna get wrecked right now in the Discord because they were just dunking on everybody, just flat out dunking. So it's gonna be like Jordan in there right now. I mean, I wish I was in the Discord right now to see that dunkage because it's gonna be funny right now.
Go ahead, Big Chief.
Yeah, there's this PETA pool mining pool called hyperdonkey.com. They merge mine Litecoin and Dogecoin. The people there, they're really responsive. The guy that runs it, it's based out in the United States. I can't remember what state it is. But you should maybe reach out to them and see if they could add the bells to their mining pool. I imagine if it can't be that difficult, I'm sure he'd be on board.
Cool.
It's a great idea.
Adam, I know you've mentioned that you've been in contact with the Dogecoin devs or the lead Dogecoin devs. What are those conversations like? Are they accepting towards Bellcoin, or are they territorial like sometimes you see in the space?
Well, I'm not going to give names or anything like that. So this is all just really general, but Billy was really, really cool.
Who's Billy? Clarify that.
Sorry, Billy, the founder of Dogecoin and Bells, was really, really cool. You know, and we were in DMs and I asked him, hey, do you have anybody you can recommend? Because I want to make sure, if possible, that we have the best advice for our devs as possible. And he was really cool. He hooked us up with an incredible person, an incredible developer. And he's given Luke can speak to it a little bit, but given really, deep wisdom advice on what we should focus on to try and, make Bell run smoothly and in the future, right? And not die, because there are things like Luke was saying, like freezing. I'd never even heard of this blockchain freeze. Like, there are these things like that, which I'd never heard of, which is basically if you have a bunch of hash power and the difficulties set at a certain level, Bell's coin only changes that difficulty once every like 200 and something blocks, right? And if you have a bunch of miners drop off in between that time where the blockchain can adjust the difficulty, the blockchain just freezes. And literally freezes, and you can never start it again. Like, it stops. And those sort of like risks, which we kind of knew about, but how do you attack those? How do you go about fixing those? We've just gotten some amazing advice. So yeah, we've been very, very fortunate. It's generally been my experience in crypto. While there are scammers and bad actors and all this sort of stuff, they're just an overwhelming group of cool people who actually really want to help and actually believe in building something great. And that's definitely been my experience here, 100%.
Awesome.
I mean, think about it. Billy, who is not into crypto at all, literally hates crypto, wants nothing to do with it, was still willing to help. I mean, I think that just speaks to how awesome he's been, even though he doesn't endorse the project. He got nothing to do with it and wants no part of it. Still an awesome dude who is willing to help, people trying to do something. It was amazing.
I saw recently two different things, two, I guess, community initiatives or movements forward. First, yesterday, you guys came up with a name for the lowest denomination of a bell, correct?
Yeah.
What is that called?
Yeah, so much like Bitcoin, the smallest is a Satoshi or a Sat, right? We wanted to come up with a name, and so we started kicking around names. And I think the first one really that came up was this idea of Nook, because Bells was based on, when Billy launched it, was based on the Animal Crossing game. The currency in Animal Crossing is called Bells. Okay, so that's like the birth of Bells. And so Nook, the first guy you meet when you come into Animal Crossing, you buy a house, and the dude's name is Nook. He's a little raccoon. And so that popped up. I didn't think it was a great name. I thought Billy's was the best name for the smallest amount. I thought Billy's worked. Nobody liked Billy's. Then somebody said Dings, which actually I thought was, man, that's a good name too. Dings was really cool. But man, we held a couple of votes, and Nooks for the win by far. Like Nooks crushed. So Nooks it is, man. The smallest unit of Bell is Nooks.
Love that community vote. And I saw recently a new wallet extension pop up. That's a big move forward in terms of the capabilities, because once you get a wallet up, then you could take it to marketplaces and do some other types of things. Have you tested the wallet? I tried to download it this morning. I literally cannot figure it out for the life of me how to do this. I'm gonna try to figure it out later. As a no-coder, is this something that should be trusted, or has it been tested?
Absolutely not trusted. Not that the developer's bad or there's any sort of malicious code in it, but absolutely do not send anything you are not willing to lose into that wallet, because it is it's like pre-alpha, right? This is like being built on the fly. So no, it's just for testing. If anybody wants to come in the Discord and test it, 100%, especially developers who can maybe help him fix the wallet, for sure. But I'm pretty confident, we're going to have, a Chrome native wallet relatively quickly, which is amazing. And there's another team building an iOS and Android wallet as well. They're saying Christmas for their wallet. So obviously that's huge news. The ability to, trade and interact, in a way that people love to do, which is basically within the browser, is such a huge step. I mean, we saw that with ordinals. Like when that finally happened with ordinals, it's life and it's changing, complete change. Like Bitcoiners who are like, you don't need those wallets, use Sparrow. It's like, bro, go F yourself, man. Don't tell me to use Sparrow, bro. I want to use Xverse or Leather or whatever they are, man. And those were huge for the ordinal space. I mean, they just allowed everything to happen because that's the way people work. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think, probably within a week or so, it'll probably be ready for retail to use, and eventually it'll get on the Chrome store. I've zero questions. So yeah, we're excited, and it's open source. So, come in and contribute. That'd be cool.
So current one that exists, it's live. You need a little bit of a developer experience to figure it out, but hasn't been publicly tested yet. So just use your own risks. Not saying that the team is not credible. It's just saying the technology is still very early. So there could be a lot of bugs and issues. Luke, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I did happen to test it, and it did work perfectly fine for myself. I think that group is Nintendo is what they're calling it, kind of like Nintendo, but Nintendo. So kind of cool because Animal Crossing is played on the Nintendo. But that's one of the devs, Quantum, who's also working on the core function and the core wallet for Bells as well. So I just want to say thank you to him, along with like Blue Light and Matt and all the other devs that are working on Bell's core, because that update will be relatively right around the corner. I would say within a week or so too. We're doing testing already on testnet, so it's coming together.
Yeah, I hear the core devs are pretty based. When we did the Emblem collection, we had to get in contact with them, and excuse me, our development team also said that they were pretty solid and had a very refined expertise in the proof of work space. Go ahead, Klaus.
Hey guys, thanks for having me today. I see Memecoin is blocked. Is this the same coin that's built on proof of work?
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah, it's a proof of work blockchain. Yep.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely look into it because I'm big into proof of work.
Yeah, man. Check Adam's pinned post, and it'll give you directions. That was from the Jumpstart about 10 days ago or so. And we're discussing now in this space just all the development.
I'll pin it up top for you.
Okay, thanks. Furthermore, have you guys looked into Chia listers yet?
Looked into what?
Yes, we have actually.
What was
Nice.
it?
Chia list. It's related to the blockchain Chia, so XCH.
We've talked Chia quite a bit.
Yeah,
bro.
Go ahead.
I've been up in 2013, and like I think Brahm actually solved the issue with BTC scaling. That's like the power with the coin set model in the Chia list. It's very, very powerful. And yeah, I definitely think you guys should look into the language of that. It's amazing. I definitely think it can help Bell as well, because it's derived from a proof of work, but it's now called proof of space and time because they use hard drive to secure the network. And they have about currently 100,000 nodes running worldwide.
Right. And from my knowledge, Chialisk can be called something else on our own network if it were to be implemented. So for those of you wondering, oh my gosh, we're going to be part of another blockchain, you can, from my knowledge, the code is there and you can change the name to however work for yourself. But that's something that we actually have two Chia devs, not necessarily like working on the core, but who have been talking and kind of throwing out ideas that I've seen in that chat. So we have come across that.
Excellent, bro. Yeah. So I'm big into proof of work and proof of space and time.
Awesome.
That's the first time I'm hearing of proof of space and time, but it sounds like fun, man. I just love the Chia meme. I mean, that's pretty awesome. Who doesn't want such a Chia, you know?
Adam, I want to ask you about a question I saw, or actually a statement that I saw Billy post in the Discord. And this is kind of now speculating on some of the things that I've seen in the Discord and maybe what some of the people are working on. Billy mentioned that the original vision was to build digital assets on Bell that could be used in Animal Crossing. Have you heard any developments in terms of like, I've seen Bellscriptions being thrown around. I've personally speculated on it. Have you heard any developments of if somebody wants to do inscriptions on this or something completely different?
Yeah, it is funny that Billy had this like, big vision back in 2013. A lot of people did, right? And it's interesting to see that kind of growth since then, over the last decade. But certainly in the Discord and the different devs, there is, I can say with near certainty that Bellscriptions and Bell 20s and whatever you want to call all those things are going to happen. Like, and I don't know it in that I'm not, fully versed on who's building what or how close they are, or if they've already put in Bellscriptions in. It's completely possible. I do not know that. So I don't have like insider information, but I just see the chatter that's happening and know that it's going to happen. It could happen today. It could happen, in a week or more. I don't know. But most certainly there are enough people interested that I can say with near certainty that it's definitely going to happen. And we're trying, obviously you and I, Jake, and Emblem Vault are trying to prepare for this, right? Because it's the idea of like, look, there are no places to trade it right now. There's this native wallet, which is super clunky from 2013, which people don't feel comfortable or secure with. So it's almost identical to the way Ordinals launched in that none of the infrastructure is built, right? So at Emblem Vault, and if you guys don't know what we do, but when like Ordinals launched, almost all trading happened through Emblem Vault on OpenSea because it gave you a secure way to trade trustlessly. You could buy and sell Ordinals on OpenSea without any problem. So that was great and helped the Ordinals system grow and ecosystem grow until people could spin up wallets and then marketplaces and all the rest of it. And so obviously we at Emblem are looking to do the exact same thing here because none of the infrastructure is built. So, when those Bell subscriptions happen or the Bell 20s or whatever they are, for people to be able to put them into Emblem vaults, trade them trustlessly on OpenSea, we're obviously want to help make that happen because it makes us money. But beyond that, it helps the ecosystem grow, and so obviously I'm interested in that as well. And I think we all are, right? So yeah, we're trying to prepare, right? I mean, you and I have been talking about it, for days now. How can we best prepare for this and make it happen? And so yeah, I'm excited about it. We'll see how it goes. I mean, we're in peak inscription season, man. There's no doubt about it. This is crazy. So yeah, we'll see. I would say, what day is today? Thursday. I wouldn't be surprised if by Sunday something happens. I mean, it feels like that. It feels like people are close.
Oh man, we did have Josh on stage, who was the co-founder of Ordinals Wallet. I was going to ask him their opinion on it. If you want to come back up and talk about it, feel free. If not, we'll speculate on who may be the ones that are going to create Bell subscriptions and Bell 20s, but it will be a little interesting. Oh, cool. Josh is back. So you guys that don't know, Josh is co-founder of Ordinals Wallet. They have support for Bitcoin Ordinals and Doginals. And I'm just curious if you guys looked into this, and is there a high degree of difficulty to implement something like that?
Yeah, so we've been, I've sort of been in the room for the last few days. Harrison's definitely looking into it. We're sort of evaluating where things are at. It sounds like we can't really get the inscriptions on the Bell's chain yet, but that's going to come with an update. So things are kind of contingent on that. I think bigger picture, I'm just really like that concept of Bells because it's really at the root of it. It's sort of like, I would say, the closest thing to 2009 Bitcoin that we've seen in a while. And I really like the lore of like Animal Crossing and the Nook and that sort of like memetics. So it has a really nice thing. And then the something that maybe the general public doesn't get to see is that there's people coordinating behind the scenes very quickly on it. I've already been interacting with Luke, of course, Harrison, the co-founder of Ordinals Wallet. He's always very quick to get involved at the ground level. Jack Liu, those are just to name a few, and that's just been in like the last 3 days. So I've been getting pulled into conversations or interacting with some new and old faces. So I find that really interesting, like the coordination, the memetics of the coin. And then I really, really like anything that can resemble sort of the original Bitcoin, both in technology and in sort of like context and narrative. And Bells covers all those bases. So as soon as I had a conversation with Harry, and right when I heard about it, and I said, hey, I think it has a really strong potential, sort of that 0 to 100 potential, because just the sort of lore behind all of this, it just attracts me naturally, and I'm really interested in it. So I think it's a cool project. To see where it ends up, it's obviously very like a lot of stuff has to sort of like get back online for this to even be like operational from a business perspective, but it's fun. It's interesting. And we're going through this inscription mania, but this is like a chain that people can mine, and there's like mining element where people are starting to turn on those old computers again to get this thing running. And we really haven't, miners have kind of been sort of the hobby miner or like the GPU miner and stuff. They've been hurting for a long time. So this introduces that element. So there's a lot to be excited about, even if it just turns into a fun little experiment. This is like definitely sort of that ground level, checking all of those boxes. It gets a lot of that early 2009 Bitcoin feeling. And that's what I like about it the most.
Very cool.
Very awesome.
Quick question, just on the note about, the update. So your belief is that update needs to be pushed. So that would be like whatever the Bell Core 2.0. You think that needs to be pushed before Bell subscriptions would be possible?
Yeah. Here, I mean, I just got an update from Harrison just a few moments ago. and it sounds like they're going to have to push an update to the node software. And Harrison, of course, can correct me if I'm wrong. It's going to launch in a few days, and it'll be the latest fork of Dogecoin. So I think I'm potentially leaking some good strategic alpha here, but I think that's the cool part about Bells is that I don't really see the hang up there with that. That's and if Harrison wants to come up and talk about sort of the ins and outs of like where it's at technically, that would be a good idea. But yeah, there's what I see just sort of from being in the room with the developments is that there are some things that have to change for us to be able to do the inscriptions on there and really get this thing ripping. And that's when we'll get, I think what will happen is when we get the inscriptions is that all of a sudden the markets are going to start to form around this, and it's not going to just be some random exchange, So stuff like that's going to start popping up.
Well, I think as long as we can all agree that the first Bell 20 is Hell's Bells.
Yes.
Named by Jake himself. I think we can all agree and go forward as the foundational Bell 20 is Hell's Bells. It's going to be amazing.
I'm going to brand it with AC/DC too. Josh, really appreciate the take on that and a little bit of the alpha drop. I know a bunch of people have been asking about that. And just to note as well, Harry, who's the ordinal dev and co-founder, one of the smartest devs I've seen, or intelligent when it comes to proof of work chains and inscriptions. So I take what he says with high degree of credibility. So go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I just think that the memeability and kind of the clunkiness and everything, all the excitement just kind of adds to kind of the narrative and the lore around it. Going back, it's just a new type of shiny thing. It's not just a meme coin. It's a whole, potential meme chain or kind of a new experience for so many people to be part of from the very beginning, but it has provenance and kind of history. So it's totally cool to see. And the timing is really good as everyone's kind of figuring out inscriptions and NFT communities and all these things that kind of build a circular economy that can kind of have a wealth effect and kind of give the chain staying power of its own. So I think we're in a pretty unique time in history, and it's super cool to see.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's really at the crossroads of kind of three different narratives. You have the inscription narrative, if that happens on Bellscriptions, meme coins, and then Adam and I participate in the historical NFT kind of NFT archaeology, right? So you're kind of meeting three center points, and then you have proof of work. And to me, it seems like an inevitability as long as it doesn't technically implode at some point here in the near future. Go ahead, DJ Mines.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? So I just had a question. I've been listening to y'all. From the founder of Dogecoin, is that true?
Yeah. Yes.
And so how can that be validated? Just so I can tell people, like my audience, because they ask.
You could go to Billy's Twitter, and he's actually tweeted about it. And also, you could go in the Bell's Discord to where Billy went in and had like an hour to hour long conversation with the community.
No, yeah. Hold on, DJ. Let me clarify.
Yeah, DJ, thanks for coming here too. I can also get you the tweets that you need to look at in your DMs at that time too. But
cool.
Yeah, if you go to the Twitter of Bell's Coin, you'll see the Bitcoin Talk page, and you can go there and you can see that Billy posted that in 2013, and we're running on that original software right from that form. Google did take down the wallet link in Drive after like probably close to 20,000 downloads in the last week, randomly out of nowhere. So the wallet to it is in the Discord right now, just so you know.
But DJ, let me clarify something. Billy did not do this. Billy isn't endorsing this in any way. Billy didn't relaunch the chain in any way. So just to be clear, this is not, and please do not say that Billy relaunched this coin or anything like that. He doesn't want to be associated with crypto in any way, and I respect that. So, he did originally do this. This was his original code, his original blockchain, and we got it working again, basically. Does that make sense?
Okay, cool. I appreciate it. Yeah, it does. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Go ahead, Sham.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a very wonderful space. But I think I speak for a lot of degens in the space here. I think there's a lot of people here who are exactly like me. We are not very technically knowledgeable, but we know where we can smell volume where it is. And I think 2023 has been such a wonderful year for ordinals from January all the way to now. It's been if like 2023 is a year for ordinals, I think 2024 could be a year for doginals. I'm so into this whole Doge stuff, and I'm very excited to see what's happening. It's a bit clunky right now. There's a lot of things happening in my wallet. I have no idea what's happening. But I know you got to learn, and that's the whole point of degens, right? We come here to take the risk, and we take the hits so that we can get it first. So let's go, man.
Yeah, you know what they say is the more friction, the higher the upside. So you only have a few places to purchase right now, a lot of learning curves. That's why you see in these early stages of a protocol either being revived or a new protocol created, it starts with like OTC trading, right? And then you get something like Emblem or some sort of like on-chain OTC tool. Then you get the centralized exchanges, then you get the decentralized exchanges, and kind of goes on and on. But that's why it makes the OTC trading in the beginning with the most highly upside, but also tons of people getting rugged, which
100%.
I know unfortunately happened a handful of times in the Discord early days. You're on mute, Adam.
Sorry, man. My brain is. I've had 85 cups of coffee already, and I apologize for my bad tech skills. I was gonna say because people are like, well, how do I don't feel even safe holding it in this wallet because it's this old 2013 wallet and stuff. And I've said to people, look, you can put it in an Emblem vault and hold it, in your ledger or in your multi-sig wallet. Like for people who are out there and like, Jesus, I just don't even like having it on my computer like this. It seems really exposed. Not to shill Emblem's bag, but look, for $40 or something, you can create a vault and send that vault into your ledger or into your multi-sig. It's just a safe way to hold it. You know what I mean? And so obviously, we have a vested interest in you doing that. And of course I want people to use Emblem Vault. But just be safe out there. There's literally no reason you should get rugged anymore. There should be no reason. So take care, guys.
It's more about just creating a safe environment. Also just growing the ecosystem. The more opportunities and avenues that individuals have to store their assets or to trade will only bring in additional ecosystems from other chains, right? That's kind of in the beginning of ordinals, Bitcoin ordinals, as we mentioned, all of the volume was happening on Ethereum, right? And so that attracted a lot of the Ethereum crowd who then learned how to trade natively on Bitcoin. And now they're majorly trading natively. So it's just the process of all trying to work together is kind of like, I guess, our ethos of how we see it at EV. Go ahead, Klaus.
Hey, I know you guys spoke about mining Bell. I just wanted to know which type of hardware you guys are using.
You got to be on an ASIC now, man. There's no way to do it. I mean, you could do it on your PC, but you're probably never going to win any because there's just too many. You're going up against giants with ASIC miners. So realistically, if an individual wanted to mine now and you don't have an ASIC or ASICs, you can actually go and I didn't know this, but you can rent ASICs like by the hour and mine that way. Whether or not that's going to be profitable for you, I don't know. And that's why, talking to other people who are doing it is probably a good idea because the reality is it may be cheaper to simply go and purchase Bell. So just, you got to play around with it and you got to kind of do that math and that calculation for yourself that often, because the big dogs have already entered the space. It might be cheaper. You just go, and buy $100 worth of Bell is the cheapest way to actually acquire it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. But when was it re-enlisted? Has it been like 24 hours, 48 hours?
No, man, it's been like 9 days or something. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's
the ASIC miners got on it within 12 hours of the announcement. If you look up top in the nest up there, you can actually see, my initial post right there. That's the original one. Within 12 hours of that post, there were ASIC miners in China mining Bell. So
obviously, you always have to be in the
You gotta be early, bro. You gotta be early, man. TikTok.
Luke, tell me a little bit about the mining pools, let's say there are some individuals who have some ASICs, or they want to, maybe this is their opportunity to finally build that mining farm or get more involved. Take us through the process of setting that up, and then like what what mining pools are involved. Are there any big players, any notable big mining farms that are participating?
Sure thing, sure thing. So obviously we're all into ASICs now. The big players, you can actually see which pools are online. Going to, I think it's mining stat. Let me look it up while I'm talking here. But in order to set up your ASIC, you're gonna either be renting it or you're going to be using your own ASIC. And the pool list that you can find, you can go into the Discord and you can go to the commands and type in /pools, or you can go to miningpoolstats.stream, and you can look at the new coins and you'll see Bell there, and it will get you a list of all the pools that have submitted to their service. And F2 pool being the most notable, it's probably one of the biggest Bitcoin mining pools as well, which is, I believe, a Chinese mining pool. They're the ones with all the hash rate right now. So we got MinePixel, which has devs that are actually working with the core as well. So I vouch for them, along with DX Pool. There's Zerg Pool. There's all kinds of other pools that are available. Now, in order to set your ASIC up, you're going to want to point it at one of these pools, because solo mining is still going to be extremely hard when you're competing with 180 terahash. Which is just, or 100, I guess 150 right now on the network. To point it at a pool, you'll go into your ASIC software. It's kind of like logging into your router. If you have your own ASIC, I'm assuming you know how to do this. And you would just go to one of those pools on the list, and you'll connect to their Stratum server with the port, and you'll post your address that you get from Bell's core, or if you're risky enough, any of the testing wallets that have been tested, and you'll basically just start it up from there. If you're renting hash rate, which I personally have never done, I'm going to try it here shortly just to kind of get a little background knowledge on it. It's going to be roughly the same process as you have to bid for your hash rate, or excuse me, bid for the amount of time that you get with the hash rate. I think that's how that works. And you'll pick a pool, any pool you want, and you'll put that into the software on NiceHash. NiceHash is where you bid for hash rate. And you can start mining directly from there. And NiceHash might be a little easier setup, as they have probably more of a visual than a classic router-looking config that ASICs normally have. But that's basically how you start. And if you need help, hop in the Discord. There's people that are doing it right now and talking about it. So we can go from there.
And if you compare the hash rate of Bellcoin comparative to the other proof of work chains, where does that sit among the difficulty in hash rate?
Yeah, I would say so Bell's right now is currently one of the most mined out of a lot of chains, simply because it's in the terahash. But you have to respect that there's a lot of chains that are completely CPU and GPU only. So if we compare it just to ASICs, it's on the lower side right now, but it's significant within the script ecosystem. It's definitely the number 3rd script, maybe next to it was at one point getting up to where Dogecoin and Litecoin were at like a few peaks, but that may have been due to a miscalculation with how the network hash rate is actually calculated within the core. But it did receive some just extreme amounts of actual, I would say, equivalent hash rate. It at least got to half of what Dogecoin and Litecoin are around, which is around, they're around 800 terahash. So Bell's at one point did get to around 400 terahash, like for a short calculation, which is just insane.
Wow. Yeah. So some real interest from everybody, whether you're just a retail trader, whether you're somebody who wants to do inscriptions, you're a builder, you're a miner. It seems like everyone wants to get involved in some way because of the convergence of all of these different narratives. So Adam, props to you, and Luke and Hot Sauce was the three people who brought it back. I'm sure the last 9 days or so has been just absolutely crazy.
Bro, 18. I mean, I'm joking because people are like, what can you do this? And I'm like, bro, I've been literally 18 hours a day, on this, just answering messages. It's been, and we've talked privately about, I've never had something like this take off like this. It's been absolutely bonkers. So obviously there's something there. I know Chipper Jones wanted to get on stage and ask some questions, man. Are you there, bro?
Oh yeah, I am here.
What's up, man?
Well, firstly, I guess I just wanted to say thank you to there was a mod, I don't remember which one it was in the Discord, but I had a transaction that just wasn't going through, and he helped me through the support, open up the help tab and then the support and open up the command line, and it pushed right through. So thank you for that. If you have any problems like that, if you hold Bell, especially in like the native wallet or whatever, there are plenty of people in the Discord that know what they're talking about. So just head there. And then I had a question for Adam, and also Adam, thank you, by the way. You're a great guy, but I had a couple of questions. These are kind of tough questions. I want to see if you can answer them. So here, I'll start. Is Dev around? When sex? When buyback and burn? When NFT? Why price go up? Why price go down? Why pump? Why pump? And lastly, can the dev do something? I'll take it.
Bro, that's exactly right, man. It's so funny, and it's impossible. Like, of course, everybody wants price to go up, and of course, no matter what I've been interested in and talked about, whether it's ordinals or, I don't know, Pixel Map or Mooncats or any of these projects, which I talk about and love, it always comes back to price, which I totally get. But this is like next level, isn't it? I mean, it's literally like the price drops 5%, and what are you going to do, Adam? When are you going to fix this? It's like, bro, what are we talking about here, man? This is as much or maybe more of this is a like complete community project. Like the devs who are helping because they want, to be involved with something cool and have something succeed. That's pretty cool. Like, I mean, it's a funny vibe. I don't, honestly, I may screw up and I might not be, do things ideally, because I don't think anybody on earth could manage a community of whatever 9,000 people in that Discord, everybody with unique sets of wants and needs. I'm trying to do the best I can, and the first goal for me there is just keep the dang thing running, man. That's first and foremost. Price go up after that. I'll leave that to the meme gods.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. If there's anyone else who has any questions, please come up on stage, or else we're gonna begin to wrap this up. It's been a great conversation. I know it's been very enlightening over the last 10 days or so, seeing everything happen. A lot of cool interest. Definitely the best to relaunch. The Discord is the place to go for everything, and stay tuned for all of the different products that are going to come out. It seems like there's a lot of interest. So without further ado, we got one more question. Go ahead, Inuyasha.
Yeah. Hey, man. I don't really have a question, but I just want to say hi to everyone. And yeah, I haven't been on Spaces for a long time, but like rediscovering this and kind of like getting the whole Bitcoin Core experience, like mining on my CPU, I actually was able to set up the node and like mine like one single block before all the GPUs.
Hey, let's go, baby.
So that was pretty cool. And then we got like a little blast from the past with like the whole, so Bitcoin Core has like this, it's not a bug, it's like a feature where they sort of trick you into thinking that your wallet is compromised so that you can upgrade, but it's like actually not. And like a part of my brain like remembers this from way back, and it's just like, wow, I remember this. Yeah,
that's awesome.
The whole experience has been like so the whole experience has been like just this very experimental blast from the past. And like I would say that a lot of people, who are sort of playing around with this thing is kind of really getting an old school experience. But also there's so much to work on, and I'm not actually a core developer. I'm just a random dude like setting up random shit on it. But
You
there's
set up
so much
pools,
to.
though.
Thank you. Yeah, so I have a pool, and not really anyone minds in it. So I'm thinking of making a meme pool. I was even thinking of like redoing the front end, so you have to scroll through a ton of memes before you can actually find a pool. So just funny stuff. But yeah, I would say don't take this coin too seriously. At least like if you want like a whole like roadmap, a stable network, like it's not going to be stable. It's not. I don't even know if the team has a roadmap or not. I'm not in the team, so you know. It's
Trust
just
me,
like
there's zero roadmap, bro. Other than keep her running, there's zero roadmap, man.
Yeah. Every day I wake up, I go into the Discord, and there's like a plot twist. Like every day, it's like, okay, today the exchange goes down. Like yesterday, something else happened. It's like, so it's fun, but it's like definitely, today a little bit nervous, but here for the ride. So,
Appreciate you, man.
That's kind of
awesome.
That's kind of the vibe.
Yeah, I just want to tell you guys,
say hi.
I have 20% of my mining hash power pointing towards Dells now, so I'm on board.
Let's go. Incredible. Go ahead, Klaus.
Hey, thanks for having me up here today. I just wanted to say, invite you guys. We have spaces tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on Chia List.
Bro, are you shilling your chia in here, bro?
No,
Come on, man.
The
You're
language,
shilling chia pet in here, bro?
The language itself.
Wait, you got to tell me, because people have been bombing me with XPet. Is that chia, XPet?
No, that's not really accurate. This is a code. This is a language from Lisp that was created.
All right, I just want to make sure. If you're
no.
shilling.
This is like high tech stuff created by Brown Cohen. BitTorrent. Yeah, this is that, guys. But yeah, because it's based on proof of work.
All right, bro, we get it. The time chain and all that stuff, man. We get it, bro. We love it. All right, we love it. We love chia.
Cool.
All right, thanks, man.
Yeah, and be sure give Klaus a follow if you want to go learn about the chia language. I appreciate everyone who's came on stage, everyone who is participating in this revival. Make sure you guys follow Adam and Luke if you want to stay up to date on Belcoin. Make sure you follow Emblem Vault, Adam, myself, and Chris on stage if you're a big fan of Emblem Vault. And also let you guys know that we host this show Tuesday through Thursday, 3 days in a row at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. We cover everything, historical NFTs, Bitcoin ordinals, inscriptions, multi-chain. We cover it all. Pretty much everything outside of the PFP mafia and maybe some of the, the more influencer type things. We focus on collecting and history and value. So without further ado, I'm going to go up and close the stage up. Appreciate everyone who's come on. Make sure you follow everyone on stage, and we'll see you next Tuesday.